Evil does not always announce itself with a loud warning. More often, it whispers, it smiles, and it walks beside you in the form of someone you trust. The most dangerous kind of wickedness is not the one that is obvious. It is the one that hides in plain sight, disguised behind kindness, charm, and even love. Have you ever felt an unshakable sense of discomfort around someone, but dismissed it because they seemed friendly? Have you ever been manipulated, deceived, or emotionally drained by someone who claimed to care about you? If so, you are not alone. Evil frequently disguises itself as good, and unless we remain spiritually alert, we may find ourselves ensnared before we even realize what has happened. The Bible warns that not everyone around us is who they appear to be. Matthew 7:15 cautions, "Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves." This warning is not just about religious leaders. It is a reality of the world we live in. Some individuals, knowingly or unknowingly, align themselves with darkness. If we fail to recognize them, they can pull us away from God, corrupt our hearts, and steal our peace. So, how can you tell if the person beside you is truly evil? How do you sense the presence of darkness in a world that encourages us to ignore our instincts? This is not about ordinary human flaws. We all make mistakes. We all fall short. This is about something much deeper. It is about those who have embraced wickedness, who have chosen manipulation, deception, and destruction as their way of life. Here are 6 warning signs that reveal someone is not just toxic, but truly dangerous to your soul. If you recognize these red flags, take them seriously. Your spiritual well-being may depend on it. Number 1, they twist the truth and thrive on deception. Evil rarely reveals itself as a monstrous figure with horns and blazing fire. Instead, it whispers in soft tones, cloaked in silk, distorting reality until even the most perceptive soul begins to question what is real. The person who smiles at you, who speaks with charm and reassurance, may in reality be a vessel of deception. One of the most telling signs that someone harbors darkness is their ease with dishonesty. Their deception isn't always in the form of outright lies. Sometimes it is the careful bending of truth, the manipulation of facts, or the subtle shifting of blame. The enemy of our souls, Satan, is called the father of lies. His tactics are rarely obvious. They are insidious, wrapped in half-truths designed to mislead. Ask yourself this: has this person ever deceived you in a way that seemed insignificant at first, but later had painful consequences? Do they twist words to control others, justify wrong actions, or serve their own interests? Truth is sacred, and when someone continually violates it, no matter how small their lies may seem, it is not just a character flaw. It is evidence of something much darker. A person who thrives on deception is acting as an instrument of darkness, whether they realize it or not. They do not walk in integrity, but wade through the murky waters of manipulation. And what makes them especially dangerous? They often deceive without guilt, without hesitation, without the slightest disturbance of conscience. This is not just a minor warning. It is a glaring signal from heaven itself. Let me ask you, my friend, have you ever second-guessed your own reality because of someone else's words? Have you been manipulated, misled, or gaslighted into questioning your own judgment? If so, take this as a warning. Evil does not always hide in the shadows. Sometimes it walks beside you, speaking in a soothing voice, lulling you into a false sense of security, waiting for the right moment to strike. Number 2, they take pleasure in the pain of others. Evil flourishes where compassion is absent. One of the most disturbing signs that someone is not just misguided but truly wicked is their response to the suffering of others. Do they smirk when someone fails? Do they take satisfaction in another's pain, humiliation, or downfall? If so, this is not simply a flaw in their character. It is a window into something much darker. Throughout history, the most wicked individuals have shared a common trait: a hardened heart. Consider Pharaoh in the time of Moses. He refused to release the Israelites even as his land was devastated by plague after plague. His heart was like stone, immune to mercy. In the same way, a person who enjoys watching others suffer may not commit great atrocities, but their laughter at someone's hardship, their cold indifference to another's pain, and their enjoyment of cruelty reveal a crack where darkness seeps in. C.S. Lewis once wrote in the Screwtape Letters that one of the greatest victories of the demonic is not found in grand displays of violence, but in the slow, subtle corruption of the heart. Beware of those who find joy in the suffering of others, for they walk a path not of light, but of deep and terrible darkness. When a person begins to find joy in hurting others, whether through their words or actions, they have already surrendered themselves to the grip of darkness. Maybe you've noticed it. The way they speak cruelly about others when they aren't around, the way they eagerly spread gossip that destroys reputations, the way they seem to thrive on conflict and division. Evil does not always come wielding a weapon. Sometimes it comes in the form of a whispered insult disguised as humor, a satisfied grin at another's downfall, or an indifferent shrug in the face of someone's suffering. And here's the most chilling truth. The longer you stay around such a person, the more you put your own soul in danger. Darkness is infectious. A hardened heart spreads like a disease. You may think, I would never become like them, but the enemy is subtle. He wears down the soul piece by piece until one day you find yourself laughing at what should make you weep. So I ask you, do you recognize this warning sign in the person beside you? Do they find joy in wickedness? Do they lack compassion? If so, you are not merely in the presence of bad company. You are standing beside a soul tainted by darkness. And now you must make a choice. Will you remain, risking the hardening of your own heart, or will you step away before it is too late? Number 3. They defile what is pure and holy. Some sin out of weakness, but others take pleasure in corrupting what is good. They do not merely turn away from what is righteous. They seek to stain it, to twist purity into depravity and holiness into mockery. This is not simple rebellion. It is something far more dangerous. If the person beside you is truly evil, they will not just reject what is good, they will try to destroy it. Have you ever observed how they react to innocence? Do they ridicule virtue? Do they sneer at those who strive to walk in righteousness? The wicked are not content to simply ignore goodness. They feel the need to tarnish it, to mock it, to tear it down. It is as if they carry a dark purpose within them, a relentless desire to twist what is sacred. This is nothing new. From the very beginning, the enemy has worked to corrupt what God has made pure. In the Garden of Eden, Satan did not simply suggest disobedience. He distorted God's words, making Eve question the holiness of his command. He did not merely offer sin, he altered the perception of righteousness itself. And this is exactly what those with evil hearts do today. They take pleasure in corrupting innocence. They lead others into temptation, not just because they crave sin themselves, but because they desire to see others fall alongside them. Perhaps you've witnessed this firsthand. The friend who mocks purity, the coworker who scoffs at faith, the companion who persuades you to make small compromises, little by little, until sin no longer seems dangerous but rather harmless, even enticing. This is not mere misguidance. It is a spirit that actively opposes God. C.S. Lewis in the Screwtape Letters describes how demons do not always tempt through great evils, but through slow, subtle corruption, a joke that trivializes sin, a small moral concession that leads to a greater downfall. And the most dangerous individuals, the ones who truly serve darkness, are those who lead you into sin without ever seeming like enemies. So let me ask you, does this person urge you to stray from righteousness? Do they mock your beliefs, claiming that holiness is outdated, unnecessary, or foolish? Do they seem eager to tarnish what is good? If so, understand this. You are not simply dealing with someone who is lost. You are standing beside a soul whose very presence works against the will of God. And if you do not guard your heart, you may find yourself dragged down with them. Number 4. They spread division and chaos wherever they go. Evil is never satisfied with peace. While the presence of God brings harmony, order, and unity, the work of the enemy thrives in discord, confusion, and strife. A person consumed by wickedness does not simply cause occasional misunderstandings. They leave a path of destruction behind them, turning friends against one another, corrupting communities, and poisoning even the strongest relationships. Scripture warns us about such individuals. Proverbs 6:16-19 lists 6 things the Lord hates, and among them is one who sows discord among brothers. Think about that. Among all the sins mentioned, from pride to shedding innocent blood, God includes division. Why? Because the enemy's mission has always been to separate what God has brought together. Have you ever met someone who seems to bring drama, conflict, and betrayal wherever they go? Do they enjoy stirring up trouble, planting seeds of doubt, twisting words to turn one person against another? These individuals often disguise themselves as innocent observers, but their true nature is exposed by the chaos that surrounds them. Consider this. Do you feel constantly uneasy around them? Does peace seem impossible when they are involved? Do they encourage jealousy, spread rumors, manipulate emotions, or pit people against one another? This is not mere human imperfection. It is a sign of something far more sinister. C.S. Lewis, in Mere Christianity, describes pride as the chief cause of misery in every nation and every family since the beginning of time. And what fuels division more than pride? The evil-hearted person thrives on making themselves the center of attention, ensuring that others suffer while they remain in control. Beware, because where they walk, destruction follows. They are the ones who inflame conflicts rather than resolving them, who take pleasure in watching others clash, and who ensure that no relationship remains whole unless it serves their own interests. And here lies the greatest danger. If you remain in their presence long enough, their chaos will inevitably seep into your life. You may think you are merely an observer, but the enemy's schemes are subtle. Division spreads like an infection, and before you know it, you may find yourself caught up in battles you never intended to fight. So, I ask you, have you noticed this pattern? Do you see how, whenever this person is involved, peace is shattered and trust crumbles? If so, be warned. You are not merely dealing with a difficult individual. You are standing in the presence of something that actively seeks to unravel the order that God has established. And if you are wise, you will distance yourself before their poison takes root in your own heart. Number 5, they manipulate and deceive without guilt. Where God is truth, the enemy is deception. Nothing exposes a truly evil person more than their ability to lie, twist reality, and manipulate others for their own gain, without shame, without hesitation, without even a trace of a guilty conscience. The devil himself is called the father of lies, John 8:44, and those who belong to him will walk in his ways. Have you ever spoken with someone and felt as if their words were a carefully woven trap, designed to ensnare you? Have you noticed how, no matter the situation, they always manage to twist the narrative to their advantage, making themselves appear blameless while others bear the consequences? This is not ordinary dishonesty. It is something far more dangerous. The wicked do not simply tell lies. They wield deception as a weapon. They distort reality, making you question your own perceptions. They manipulate emotions, using guilt and fear to control those around them. They play the victim when they are in fact the offender. And when confronted with their deceit, they craft yet another lie to evade accountability. The Bible warns us about such individuals in 2 Corinthians 11:15. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So it is no surprise if his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. Evil does not always appear as a terrifying figure. It often takes the shape of someone charming, persuasive, and outwardly kind. They speak with smooth words, pretending to care, but beneath the surface, their heart is hardened, and their intentions are laced with poison. C.S. Lewis, in The Great Divorce, describes souls so deeply lost in deception that they can no longer recognize the truth. They lie so frequently that they begin to believe their own fabrications, reshaping reality to fit their twisted perspective. This is the true horror of the deceitful-hearted. They are not simply dishonest, they are entirely consumed by their lies. But here is the most unsettling part. If you remain close to them, they will attempt to control you. They will make you doubt yourself, question your own sense of right and wrong, and gradually push you to compromise, until you can no longer discern where truth ends and deception begins. So ask yourself, do they manipulate with ease? Do they distort reality for their own gain? Do they show no remorse for misleading others? If the answer is yes, then heed this warning. You are in the presence of someone who serves darkness, whether they are aware of it or not. And the longer you remain, the tighter their web of deceit will entangle you. Will you recognize the warning sign before it's too late? C.S. Lewis in The Four Loves describes how love, when corrupted, can become something sinister. Love that should be pure becomes possessive. Love that should be a gift turns into a weapon. And those who serve darkness have mastered this distortion of love. They know how to make others dependent on them, how to manipulate emotions so their victims feel as though they cannot live without them. But true love does not enslave, it sets free. So, let me ask you, have you mistaken their deception for love? Have you overlooked their cruelty because of the rare moments of kindness? The most dangerous form of evil is not the one that is obvious. It is the one that disguises itself as good. And if you stay too long, you may find yourself bound by chains you never even noticed being placed upon you. Here is the final warning. Love that is not rooted in God is not love at all. If their so-called love lacks the fruits of the Spirit, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, then what they offer is not love, but a carefully constructed lie. And if you recognize this warning sign, you have a choice to make. Will you break free, or will you stay, hoping the illusion will somehow become real? Evil is deceptive. It does not always come with fangs, blood, or violent threats. More often it arrives with a gentle touch, a warm smile, and words that sound caring. But beneath that disguise lies a spirit that seeks to manipulate, corrupt, and control. If you have seen these 6 warning signs, do not ignore them. Do not convince yourself that they will change or that you are simply overreacting. The Bible teaches that wisdom comes through discernment, and to ignore the signs of evil is a dangerous mistake. The truth is, you cannot save someone who does not want to be saved. You cannot fill a heart that has willingly chosen emptiness. The longer you stay close to wickedness, the more it will drain you, distort your spirit, and make you doubt the truth you once knew. So now you must decide. Will you remain, hoping that darkness will somehow turn into light? Or will you walk away, choosing the path of truth and life? The enemy wants you to hesitate. The enemy wants you to second-guess yourself. But God has given you eyes to see and ears to hear. If you recognize these signs, it is because He is warning you. And when God warns, it is because He is calling you to something greater. Do not remain where darkness reigns. Walk away, and let the light of Christ lead your path.